Hello, strong and flexible friends. Join me for this nice total body mobility session. This can be done for post-workout or after work when you're feeling a little bit stiff and sore. First position is a 90-90, so hop in. Right knee is in line with the foot at a 90-degree angle. We're just leaning back ever so slightly into this internal rotator, and you're keeping your left foot on the floor and attempting to lift the knee off the ground. This might feel a little bit difficult initially. You might just have to stay where you are if you're tight in the hips, with the knee in line with the hip, the left one that is, because this position alone can be challenging and people tend to slouch over if they lack any rotation in the hips. So just do what you can as always. Rule of thumb always with my classes is we want to create stretch sensation, move into it, breathe, relax, and we want to avoid any pain and stress. So sitting back like this is nice and easy. We're leaning forward now and we're leaning our torso over that front leg. So we're now targeting the right outer hip, which is known as external rotation. Do what you can. You might not be able to get onto the elbows. You might have to plant onto the hands. You should be feeling a nice sensation on that outer hip. Breathe, relax into it. Keep the spine nice and long. Using your hands to bring yourself back up. Spine nice and long. There's temptation to round forward. Moving into the outside of the hip now. This is an option for you. Or you can move towards the foot, just whatever increases the sensation for you. These are wee advanced variations, just exploring how the body is feeling. Nice little hip shift to the opposite side. It's always fun to flow into the next exercises. Same thing again, leaning back if possible. Sometimes having blocks under the knees can help keep you nice and sturdy, help keep you upright. For a long time I just focused on sitting in the 90-90 the way it was, but now I can explore this back internal rotation, and you can stay active here as well. You can press the knee into the ground just before you lift it up, so you're getting two sides of activation. Remember to keep an eye on the ligaments of the medial aspect of the knee, a fancy term for the inside of the knee. You don't want to feel any pain there, and if you do, flex your toes towards your knee. Hinging forward over that front leg. Remember, spine nice and long as it can be. Compressing the space between your hamstring and your diaphragm, basically your belly. Chilling out, breathing. Planting on the hands if it feels good. And you can always explore this position. You can move towards the tibia, the shin, or you can move a little bit further out until the knee. I always encourage people in our classes when we're performing in 90-90 to find the area which is tightest and move and breathe and relax into it, because that's what your body needs most. Little hip shift again. Nice way to transition into what is known as a butterfly. Feet together. Using our left hand now to try and get more external rotation after we've warmed it up with the 90-90. This is way more active. You're using your elbow to extend, press into that external rotation, and also use your glute. Your glute should be firing up here to try and press the knee to the ground ever so slightly now. We're not going max effort here, trying to hurt ourselves. We're just being active. And I always say, effort, not stress. Feels good. Relax, soften the breath. Slow inhalations through the nose. Slow exhalations through the nose, keeping the mouth closed at all times. Easing out. Hinging forward a little bit. Explore the stretch on each side, and now we're moving to that right side. Plant the hand on the inside of the knee. Little reps in and out, down and up. Seeing how the hips feeling. And now we want to employ that active contraction that you want to press the knee down into the ground with your arm, but also with the help of the hip, like we did with the left one. Transition to a nice kneeling position. Let's work our way up the body to the neck. Try to bring your left ear to your left shoulder. The hand comes behind the back. That just helps keep the shoulders down. See how the shoulders are dipped here. They're not lifting up. Activating the traps. We want to keep that nice and soft. And you're basically bringing the gaze down towards your knees and then up ever so slightly to make this more active. I always say, you know, it looks like you're trying to smell your own armpit with this move. Gross, but hopefully we've got deodorant on and we feel good. If you have available range of motion, you can try and sniff the armpit and then look up towards the sky to stretch the sternocleidomastoid of the neck. Now the opposite side, you can see that hand coming around the lower back, and then we're just lifting up and down, ear potentially coming into contact with the shoulder, or even attempting to, as we move through this nice range of motion. And proceed with caution with this one. Don't fire into the neck, especially if you have chronic neck tightness. Ease, move with awareness, and as much grace as you possibly can. Hips down towards the ground now, thighs in contact with the grass, the mat, your floor at home, wherever you're performing, the gym floor. Looking left, looking right, over the shoulder, a little bit of C-spine rotation, and I like to just add the foot in as well. You bend the knee, look towards the foot, and see if you can loosen up the neck, and if the gaze improves, if the perception of the legs improves, so you start to see your heel. The more times you do this, you're increasing your range of motion. Very nice. Now, this next exercise is a little bit tricky. It takes some time getting into, so you want to bring your elbow to a good 45-degree angle above the body, and you have to play around with this one in order to find the appropriate stretch. Some people have different shoulder anatomy and different tightnesses, so you have to play around with the elbow. Then you plant the left hand, and that presses into the ground. It helps you open up that chest a little bit more, and you should feel this anywhere between your pec minor, pec major, and then front delt, and sometimes even potentially the bicep muscle. You can extend the hand. I've flexed the elbow here. You can extend the elbow if you want to. I do prefer to keep my elbow bent and focus on stretching out the pec, because I tend to have rounded shoulders. So this really helps me, helps improve my shoulder health and my posture. You'll see now that I move straight into our sleeper stretch. Elbow is in line with the shoulder. It's a little bit difficult to see from this angle, but it's at a 90-degree angle. And then the wrist comes towards the hips. I add the hand at the top of the forearm for a little bit of added pressure. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Don't jam it down, try to force anything to the ground. Just a light stretch sensation. Maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. And then we move it back in the external rotation at your own pace. Opposite side now, and as you can see, elbow in line with shoulder. That doesn't work. You have to kind of elevate it a little bit more depending on your restrictions. You could bring the elbow lower down or higher up. It's up to you. Do what you need to do in this space. Relax, breathe into it. If you really wanted to, you could extend the elbow as well, get more of a stretch on the bicep. But just soften that breath. Inhalations through the nose, exhalations through the nose. Not doing anything crazy here. Just trying to bring the heart rate down, bring the tension in the body down. It is post-workout after all. Here we go, into the sleeper stretch. It's nice to get a different point of view with this angle, just to see how far the forearm really goes down. Everybody's different here. Remember, we are looking for positive change in the body. We're not trying to hurt ourselves or try and force the joints into angles that they do not feel comfortable with at this moment. Transitioning to a nice seated position, nice rewarding rest. Bring the foot across Bring it to the outside of the right thigh, and then you're hugging your knee to your chest and pulling it towards you. You then lean a little bit towards that right foot, and that helps create more external rotation of the hip, and you should feel a nice stretch in your glute. If you don't feel a stretch in this position, try and move your body closer to the grass and play around with the position of your torso. Here it is from another angle. So you're hugging, pulling towards you. You can try and lean back a little bit further, lean towards the ground, or pull the knee towards you. Like I said, if you do not feel an appropriate sensation. Keep an eye on the ankle, make sure it's not flaring up, it's not sore in any way, you're not bending it in any awkward position just to perform this fancy looking exercise. Not holding it for too long, just creating a little bit of stimulus here. Something fell out of my pocket there, I think it was a few euros. Lying down on the back, we're working internal rotation, we've worked a lot of external, so then the hands go to the inside of the knees, and then we just bring the legs out to the side. Now our nice little hamstring floss, straight in, lower back in contact with the ground, extending the knee using the quad muscles, keeping the foot soft. Final stretch of this follow along is working into the forearms. Try and bring your fingertips close to the knees, and then shift the weight back and try and stretch out the fingertips. Just do what you can. Some people do struggle with this because of shoulder rotation and wrist flexibility deficits, so do what you can. It's good to work into the fingertips. Now we're so dominant on our hands with, laptops, phones, everything like that. So just relax into this, breathe, thank your body for showing up, thank yourself for showing up and doing absolutely amazing. I'll see you again soon.